Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Now, okay, here's the thing. Payton, I know that you're back. Thank you so much. Hello, hi.
Hi.
I know we brought you on here and you so graciously decided to come on to talk about the Vampire Diaries. What if, instead, for the next hour, we just talk about the Wicked trailer?
Honestly,
Oh no.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable amount of time to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to dissect, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could talk about the glasses. You could talk about how dark it is.
Right.
You could talk about how they're supposed to be young adults.
Sure.
But they look like full adults.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things. I could spend at least a good 30 talking about Jonathan Bailey, but that's fine. We can save that for a different time.
I'm very nervous about the two-part situation.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's never coming out, right? It's just,
No. They're saying part 2 is next year, but like,
No
I feel like it's
shot.
going to be an Avatar situation, which is that it's going to come out a decade from now.
Right. And we're the fools who will be waiting for it.
Right. I'll just be there at AMC
Right.
the whole time. I'll just make a room.
Right.
It'll be
Yeah, it's
fine.
like I live here now until this comes out.
This is my home.
Yeah.
I am amazed and happy and joyful to have you back, Payton. Hello.
Hi, thank you. It's a joy to be back.
Ooh.
It feels both simultaneously like yesterday and also like 5 years ago when
Yeah.
we had you on last.
Yeah.
I looked on our little previous conversation in email because I was looking up to try and find the Skype link, and it was 2021, which is a
That's
long time
bananas.
Scary.
Whoops.
That was such a different time in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But alas, first of all, I'm so excited to have you back. If anyone, for whatever reason, has not listened to the episode from 3 years ago, could you do us the honors and share who you are?
Yeah, my name is Payton Mitchell. I am the social media manager for Hank and John Green, as well as other people. I'm freelance. I have a lot of clients, and I'm always busy and scattered. That's sort of my thing. So yeah, I'm on the internet a lot. I do a lot of short form video type of stuff like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels, and various other things. I'm sort of Hank and John's hey, could you do this person? My favorite example of that is one time Hank emailed me and asked me to buy a certain dollar amount worth of vintage 80s Garfield figurines. Don't know why.
Yeah. Dream
I was like,
assignment.
Sure. So basically every 1980s Garfield from eBay is gone, and it's because I purchased them on behalf of Hank Green.
That's powerful.
I love stimulating the economy.
Yeah, honestly, that's my job. A strange and exciting work that I do.
Wow.
Amazing. Thank you for your service. Thank you for explaining to what I would imagine is on a daily basis to people that you can't just make a viral TikTok. That's not just, you can't just like press a button when you're uploading it.
That's
for that.
true.
You don't just
we
hit the viral button.
Right. I would definitely be.
Sorry, you don't have the viral button?
I don't, but I do really have confidence navigating eBay. So, you know,
Hey,
we all have different skills.
Right.
Mine is eBay.
I'll go endorse you all on LinkedIn
Right.
for your eBay skills.
Thank
Give me
you.
2 seconds.
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
So apparently it's been 3,000 years since we had you on last. Because the fact that we're talking about a heavy episode, we tend to do our chaser before the shot, in the sense that we like to talk about something that is either brought us joy or that has happened recently that's made you happy. Could you share for the class what that is for you?
Yeah. So this past weekend, I'm from Oklahoma, if anyone didn't know that. And I don't live there now, but my family and my husband's family all do. And my husband's family attended a college basketball game, an Oklahoma basketball game. And my nephew won a crawling contest. He's 9 months old. So,
Fuck yes.
not to brag about like champion lineage in our family, but perhaps we're a family of winners, and the legacy is carrying on to my nephew, who is a champion already.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's got to be its own section in the baby book, right? Of like, here's this day when you won a crawling contest.
Yeah, your first win in life. For the first dub, we have it documented.
I have so many questions, but that's beautiful. I love to imagine little babies crawling on a basketball court.
Yeah. They're shockingly fast until they stop. They would get, they would go, and then it was sort of a distracted stop and look around situation.
Sure.
Sure.
But
a lot of stimuli in the
my nephew ended up pulling through at the end. He stopped and sat down for a while, but we all need breaks, and he still managed to pull out the win for the family. So we're happy about that.
Wow.
Damn, it only goes up from here.
Yeah,
true.
You got to keep those expectations high.
Congrats on being a Nepo aunt, I guess.
Thank you.
Going up,
Oh my god. The image in my head is just beautiful. Cody, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm living. I'm out here.
Yeah.
This happy thing's a little weird, but it is what I feel. And that is
Good.
the woman, the myth, the legend, Theresa Caputo. Are y'all familiar?
Oh my
With her
god.
game?
You mean the love of my life, Theresa Caputo?
The love of all of our lives, mother to so many of us, And she's back, baby. Y'all know about this? She's got a whole new show
No, I did not know about this.
on the Lifetime Network.
She's got a Substack.
Right.
She's got her own show now.
She's got her own
She's on
media
everything.
empire. I would subscribe to her Substack, though, for real. That'd be...
Are you kidding me?
within seconds, absolutely. But she has a show called Raising Spirits, and it's just the same show, basically, but it's like, sometimes I'm also going on tour, so it's like kind of my also personal life, in addition to like these readings, which is also kind of how the show was originally. But it's just the same stuff, and it's beautiful, and I forgot like what a weird kinship connection I had with the Long Island Medium. Because like, I don't know what the juju is of the universe, like that's not my bag. That's not for me to say about what's going on, right? But I believe her, right? I see her say stuff, and I'm like, yep, got it.
If there's anyone whose hair holds secrets, it's Theresa Caputo.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You said she's like traveling, touring, or is she?
Yeah,
is it
she
not?
had like I don't know if she is currently, but I guess that's a big part of her like business now. Is like she does these like, not like arena shows, but like, shows across the country or whatever, and like picking people out, being like, I feel something. Did you have a dad that passed away recently? Like,
I feel like I need to go.
Wow.
I was just instantly Googling. Like I need to go.
it seems like a party. Like I feel like the energy in those rooms would be magnificent.
Yeah.
Because I know, even without Googling, that like Theresa Caputo is one of those acts that goes to like casinos.
Sure.
It's not
yeah.
It's not a football stadium. It's not even an arena. It's like,
Right.
who's the entertainment at the casino this week? Oh, of course, it's Theresa Caputo.
Right.
Okay, hear me out. Theresa Caputo in the Sphere residency.
Fuck me. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, Spirits in the Sphere. It's
Right.
like, oh my gosh,
already
the
a cursed,
visuals could be
like,
beautiful.
venue. That venue's only been there for a couple months. It is deeply haunted, right? Already.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a lot
haunted
to
by the
work on
spirit
here.
of you two.
Right, exactly. It's like Bono and the Edge have been trapped here for 60 days, and they can't leave.
The Sphere is the scariest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, if there was ever... This is true both for when I was a kid and now as an adult who pays bills. If there was a opening act and main stage that would send me into, like, my Apple Watch would be like, you need to chill out because your heart rate's freaking the fuck out. It would be Joey Chestnut and Theresa Caputo. Can you imagine them
That's a
doing,
wild
like,
double billing.
nationwide tour?
Yeah.
Just think about it. It would change lives, I think, actually.
Yeah. So sharks, any just well-endowed investors listening to this podcast, got a great
I'm
idea.
so glad that she still has work, honestly.
Yeah,
Can I confess something embarrassing to you all?
absolutely.
This is the only space you can do it. It's only safe here.
Okay, perfect. I started following this pet medium on Instagram.
Fuck yes. Yes.
And I followed her.
I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I love
I
that.
believe
Thank
them.
you.
Yeah,
I
believe they're
followed her,
spirits.
but so I have a border collie and a Shetland sheepdog mix, so they're very smart. And I was thinking, like, I would love to know what they think about me, but I'm also afraid that they would, like, say something bad about me to this stranger. So I texted my husband and I was like, how do you feel about spending $200 on a pet medium reading? And he was like,
amazing. That's weird.
He was like, hey, I think maybe we shouldn't do that. And I was like, oh, right. Okay. So then I unfollowed the medium, because I kept getting the videos and it kept making me want to buy this thing.
Sure.
Which, mind you, I don't even believe in ghosts. I mean, like, I don't know. So I unfollow her, but then a few weeks later, she follows me on Instagram. No. I swear, I have never been more afraid and impressed of someone in my life.
She knows something.
I was like, my dogs are confessing it. Like, my dogs heard this conversation that I wanted to get this reading, and they were like, girl, our mom is really gullible. Like, you gotta follow her on Instagram.
It's an easy sale. Just lock it in. You know?
I wonder if it's the same pet medium that I follow on TikTok, because I have also thought about buying a reading for my 2 cats, but I know that they would just eat me alive.
I know, it's so scary.
How are you doing, Allie?
I'm alive. I am persisting nonetheless.
Congratulations.
And
also I'm sorry.
Oh, nevertheless, you know. I have a really also an oddball thing to bring to the space, but it is my truth and it's just how I feel.
Sure.
So my happy thing is not just this TikTok account, but specifically this video from Josh Plays Drums.
Okay.
And it is a video of him and this person named Benny Blanco, who are doing what is essentially Foley for just this like 10-second clip.
I have seen
of Snoopy.
this. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is a good video.
And I think Foley work to me is the same as magic, where it's like, I don't understand it. I don't know what's happening.
Right.
But I love being able to see the process. And they're so good at it that it's really fucking with my brain. But I keep watching it and I love it so much.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
It's such like a mesmerizing.
How in your brain?
Like, how did you get the exact like tonality of every like skip and slab of something? Like, it's beautiful.
There's a part where one of them mimics the sound of you like scooping ice cream. And if someone came up to me and was like, you have 10 seconds to make this sound, or I'm going to steal all your money, I wouldn't even know what the first, like, how do you mimic that sound?
Right. It's like, it's over.
It's done. There you go. But it's very beautiful. And so I thank them for the entertainment they gave me. And also it's Snoopy. So
hey, amazing. Always relevant in this home.
Yes.
Always. It is a Snoopy safe space here. I'm very excited about this, Payton, not just for the episode that you chose, but also because last time that you were here, we talked about your Twilight backstory, and I would love to know what your Vampire Diaries backstory is.
So I honestly, this has been such an ongoing thing in my life, like rewatching the Vampire Diaries every few years, that I truly don't remember when the first time I watched was. But long enough ago that I don't remember. I would assume high school. I don't know when the first season came out, but I would assume I watched it after it had been out, because I think I vividly remember my friends watching it and putting me onto it after the first season was over. So I think I came in at like season 2. But it's sort of like Twilight in that I'm rooting for everyone and also no one in this show. Yes. And I think that's beautiful. And when you're me as a teenager, there's all these hot people in this show, and it's vampires.
Sure. Right.
So, and it's like iconic 2009 music.
Yup.
The fashion, the flare jeans. Yeah, it's definitely iconic media of my youth, and I'm probably worse for it, but that's okay.
Hey, you know.
Listen, this is a no judgment zone, so you're good.
Right. It's definitely one of my fall like rewatch shows. Like when it gets cold outside, Vampire Diaries, it's coming on.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think a lot of the episodes that we've seen thus far have been very fall coded, so that aligns.
Yeah, it's a very CW trope of just like fall vibes.
Yes,
you know.
Yeah, everyone's wearing like a fitted Henley That's the vibe.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're wearing a beanie, but it's not fully on their head. It's in the way that's like cool.
Right.
The way you aspire for it. We have some amazing questions that were sent in for this episode, for you specifically. The one that there's a lot of these I'm curious about, but one of them is from Jeremy, who asks, why was Bonnie treated so bad? And why was she mother-coded? You have 2 minutes to respond.
I'm not sure why she was treated so bad, other than everyone was treated pretty bad in this show. They were all pretty bad to each other. I think that it was just sort of the way the show goes. Everyone's sort of miserable and upset and angry at each other, which does make for good television. So I guess that's my answer to the first part, is that Bonnie was treated badly because so was everyone else. Why is she so mother-coded? I'm really not sure. She's sort of the only rational... Maybe that's also why she was treated badly.
True.
Right,
She's sort of the only rational and trustworthy narrator in this show.
Yeah.
Everyone else, absolutely off the rails.
Can't be trusted. For anything.
No. I would trust Bonnie if she said something happened. The rest of them...
Oh my god, yes.
Absolutely not.
The rest are unreliable narrators.
Absolutely.
100%.
They're somewhere else entirely. So, honestly, justice for Bonnie. Have you guys seen this show, like, all the way through, or are you watching for the first time?
None at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
None at all. Which is why some of these questions have spoilers. Rude,
Right.
class. Don't do that. But has piqued my interest. Soup. Hello, Soup.
Soup.
Welcome. First time caller, Soup. Asks, is it time for me, Soup, to do a rewatch?
The answer is yes, Soup. Absolutely.
I think always.
Yeah.
I say it depends on how long it's going to take you. Because if it's going to take you into when the weather's getting warm, you've missed it. Like, you've missed your chance.
So if you're a quitter, Soup, then no.
Right. But if you're going to be quick about it, yes, right now is a good time. You have about 2 months, I would say.
Yeah. I believe in Soup, for sure.
I do too.
Yeah.
Get on your Zoom, Soup. Right. You got time.
You have to put in the work, Soup.
Rachel asked some amazing questions. The first, and I'm very curious about this, is, are you Team Damon or Team Stefan?
I honestly am curious about both of your answers first, because I know I have a lot more context than you both do.
Right, this is true.
That is so true.
We're operating on a deficit.
We have 19
here.
episodes.
Right.
I will say, I think we're in line, Allie. Maybe I'm a little bit more aggressive than you are, but I am a very much a Stefan hater. That's
Stefan sucks so bad.
He has no riz. There's at least this episode, like, he has been acting, capital A acting, even the last episode before this, like,
this episode was good.
He was
Paul
doing
did a great job.
Great, and I appreciate it. I wish I had seen any of this in the last almost 20 episodes prior, but that's okay. Maybe it's not his fault.
Paul said April, when they're filming this, that's when I'm going to start trying.
Right.
Back in September now.
And it's just hard compared to Ian Somerhalder, who is just, like, naturally, like, riz out the wazoo, incredibly charming, incredibly, like, bad boy, easy to fall in love with in a way that you shouldn't, you know? Like, I see the vision.
Which is wild.
Right.
Cody and I are on the same page with this, which is fuck Stefan.
Right.
The thing that's wild that I'm realizing is that, like, I love Ian playing Damon.
Right.
I don't like Ian as a person.
Sure.
Paul, as Stefan, sucks so bad, and I still can't believe that I clocked him having a rose tattoo before seeing his full body.
Oh my god.
Like, that's just Stefan to me. But Paul, like, I've seen him on TikTok and I've seen him on Instagram, and he's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Confusing.
Yeah.
I just Stefan is
here.
boring, and he's such a crybaby, and I find that boring. At least Damon. I think that Cody and I, we've talked about this a couple times now. They're really starting to tease out that Damon Elena.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it.
I'm into it.
Okay.
I'm into it.
I'm so glad you said that, because some places are not safe spaces for liking Damon, okay? And I realize he is a murderous, scary person. I get that. But that can be I can look past it.
But he's upfront about that, though. He doesn't hide it.
Right.
Right.
You know.
You know
Right.
what you're getting into with Damon.
He's honest. I will say, I do also like Stefan, but it's because I can enjoy a bland, rizless man who's really hot.
Sure.
That sometimes
that's
is okay
so
for
fair.
me.
No, that's so valid. That's so valid.
If I think about, like, the start versus now, like, the pilot, when we were watching it, Stefan was doing those, like, voiceovers, writing into his diary. Boring, go away. You're a sad virgin. But now, he's scary. He's, like, objectively more scary this episode.
Right.
Yes.
But there's something happening.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, I don't hate that.
Right. And it's, like, connected to something. Like, you feel that there's a plot and because, like, Damon obviously has, like, trauma out the wazoo. And he's, like, processing.
Right.
And this is, like, very hard and fast for Stefan. And so it's like, okay, I'm seeing it. All right. I get it.
I know both of you have trauma, but
Right.
you're both still assholes.
Right. Yes.
True. It's true.
Right.
Rachel has another question here, which, again, knowing that Cody and I have not seen this show, I want you to give us a little bit of a warning. This question is, do you think the show jumped the shark? And Rachel continues saying, if so, what season should it have ended? So without, like, major spoilers, when is this going to be insufferable for us to do?
I would say I would have been very happy with an ending after season 4.
Okay.
Fuck. So halfway through?
No! 5, I would accept season 5.
Sure.
After that,
Oh.
I truly stopped caring.
Oh, no.
Cool. Cool.
Like, when I do my fall time rewatch, it is seasons 1 through 4.
Sure. It's like when people rewatch Glee, it's like, okay, 1 through 3 only. Like,
Right.
I can't really delve into New York right now. I can't do this. Oh no. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it gets,
cool.
the
I
plot is
appreciate the
very
warning.
confusing, is how I would describe it.
okay.
Did you guys watch
God.
Pretty Little Liars?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like that.
Okay.
no.
Fun. Awesome.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. But Cody, that's like 3 years away.
We don't have to worry.
We might not even be around
That's
anymore.
that's a later us problem, and who knows if we'll even have to deal with it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay.
fun.
All right.
Cool.
This other question that we have from Hannah gets into this episode specifically, which says, what Harry Styles song would you replace over the Miss Mystic dance scene?
Oh, perfect. I would use Treat People with Kindness, and we would do the dance from the Treat People with Kindness music video instead of the dance that they're doing, which is boring.
Sure. Yeah.
So I would do a
No flavor.
re-choreograph. Yeah. We would be doing sort of 1960s themed jazz instead of whatever they're doing.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that the only time I think I've ever agreed with Mrs. Lockwood on this show was her being like, don't touch during this dance. You need to do the foreplay of, like, no touching
Right.
here.
You need to leave room for
and
Jesus.
I know that you need to leave room for... And exactly, because she's definitely doing it from a, like, conservative background. But I was like, oh, but it's just tension.
Right.
That's what I want.
What if
Because
this was
we are
actually
level
hornier?
100 yearners. We are true yearners. We know we need to yearn. We need to have a slow build, and that's why, no spoilers, but that's why Damon and Elena are so good. Okay?
Oh,
It's the
my
long
God,
game.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's already like ooh.
They've already had some, like, glances at each other, which is why I think it's more interesting.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. The buildup is. Whew, I feel it.
I hate it, and I love it so much. I will say that even though the dance that they did was super boring, I did prefer it over the dances that I had in high school in 2010, which was just inappropriate gyrating at school dances.
Yeah.
And doing that in front of adults would be scary to showcase here. So I'm glad that they didn't do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine Stefan grinding at a dance. Can you imagine?
But I can Damon.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Damon would be like on a table. Damon would be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Damon would already be kicked out of the dance by a
For
chaperone, and I love that for him. For our friends who remember, because I also needed the recap this week. Last week, Stefan was an absolute menace, and he continues this. but he specifically left Elena at their, like, fancy pre-Founders Day thing. And also John is here, who I completely forgot about until the recap.
Welcome back, John.
Forgettable
Welcome
character
back,
for sure.
John. You suck so bad. Payton, why, when we gave you a plethora of season 1, why this episode?
Because when Elena's in the blue dress and Damon is at the end of the stairs, I'm absolutely rattling on the bars of my enclosure, like barking, screaming. It's so important.
And you're
to me.
right for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was entirely the only reason. Is literally that scene and the dance with the hands almost touching. That's it. That's all I needed. The rest of the episode truly does not exist.
And you're right for that. I'm so grateful that, one, we got to see Elena outside of her enclosure. By that I mean they curled her straight hair.
Right.
But they made the right decision of putting her in like a cool jewel tone blue.
Yes.
And it looks so good.
Yes. And some would
I'm
say
very grateful.
Some would say it was meant to be with matching I almost called them Ian. Damon's eyes. I mean, was it foreshadowing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Oof.
If we could just have that, like, 6 minutes of the episode, this would be a banger. I'd love it so much. I bet it did amazing things for the, like, Manip community.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah.
The rest of this, though, was rough, to say the least. Cody, do you think, has it been 5 or 6 episodes that we've been yelling about this? But we did finally get Bonnie back.
We've confirmed that she's alive. We don't have to file a missing persons report anymore. She's back in the building. I'm very happy for that.
Of healing with grief,
right.
She comes back with bangs.
Yeah, she's got a cool new do. She looks great. And everyone's being really weird to her and being like, hey, why are you mad at me? And she's like, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. I had to leave school for seemingly weeks, it seems like, or at least a week, right? And Elena's just pressing her. And it's like, hey, bestie, we should pick up where we left off. And she's like, I don't think I can do that right now. I'm in a weird spot. And it's not your fault specifically, but like everyone you're surrounded with is a problem to me. And I don't understand what the
hated the fact that Elena pushed Bonnie so much that Bonnie was like, you know what, fuck it, you want me to say it out loud? I don't like your boyfriend.
Right.
Your boyfriend got my grandma killed. And she's like,
right.
Bonnie,
you can't say that.
You can't just say
he
that.
Didn't
and
mean
it.
My boyfriend, known ripper, beheader of people. How could you say he killed your grandma?
Right.
How could you?
And that the spell didn't work. Why did you text me that? I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, it's like, I got it. I don't need to know extra trauma that my grandmother died for nothing. Thank you. Like, jeez.
And seemingly her and Caroline have been talking every day.
Yeah, they're still
while
like
Bonnie's been gone.
besties, and Elena's just dropping in like, hey, remember me? We're friends. I care about you for sure. Just checking in. She's like, Jesus Christ, Elena.
Can't you tell that I'm avoiding eye contact with you because your boyfriend is weird and I'm getting weird vibes from him? And she has no clue.
Yeah, no. I took notes for this episode. I did a rewatch earlier today, and I just started it with Stefan Odd Bloodbender, because he absolutely is. That's sort of his whole thing this episode. It's
rough.
He is not with us. He is not present in the room.
No, and at least last episode at the party when he was like, oh, I'm going to turn on Katy Perry and start dancing with random women.
Right.
He was like embarrassing still, but he was funny. This episode,
it's bad.
He's embarrassing and fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's... You've crossed a line.
Yeah. If we're at the point where we're stealing from a blood bank, and a hospital, that's maybe not. Maybe we need to reevaluate here, right? About our problems, about our addictions here, sir.
I wrote down a quote
so clearly about that of like, we're gonna make this an alcoholism allegory. And it's like, okay, we got it. Thank you.
Right. I wrote down a quote. So this is kind of jumping forward, but it's definitely about his blood problem. is whenever he is, for so long in the episode, it just cuts to him battling with his mind in the parking lot by this red Volkswagen Beetle, and there's this girl there.
Literally.
My favorite part of this episode was...
He does transformative things in this scene. It is bananas.
He
Paul
said...
went off.
He said, I'm sorry, this is a quote. I wrote this down so I would remember. He said, sorry, I'm a little bit on edge. This was like quietly and kind of to himself. I'm a little bit on edge. I've been drinking the human stuff.
I feel so bad for Amber in this episode because Homegirl had a panic attack upstairs.
Absolutely.
Went down to get some fresh air, and then Stefan's like, fuck your panic attack. I'm gonna just start rambling to you, a stranger, in the parking lot, and then also try to kill you.
Right.
And he said, why aren't you scared of me? And she said, you told me not to be.
I don't know what to feel anymore.
I will say, though, in that moment, when she says that, Amber looked aggressively into it.
Yeah.
Like Bella vampire into it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So something about that, I was like, oh, maybe they're going to explore this a little bit more. And then he was like, no, I want you to be scared so I can chase you and hunt you.
Right.
Stefan!
They sort of set it up as if he's trying to be good, like, get away from me. But no.
Where he's like, actually, it wasn't really turning me on
you.
anymore. I gotta actually have the chase here to really feel it.
It felt like the human equivalent of Stefan having like one slice of pizza left. You put it in the fridge and he's like, I'm gonna have this for lunch tomorrow. Cue like 45 minutes later, he's like, you know what, fuck it.
Right.
That's not enough for lunch anyway.
I'm gonna throw that slice of pizza across the room and go get it.
I'm gonna set that piece of pizza on a motorized car and chase it through the woods.
I'm gonna make a saw trap for my pizza so I can really feel like it's worth it.
God, he really is Jigsaw this episode.
He is.
That's awful.
Oh, he looks so scary when they find him with Amber, and there's like strings of spit and blood. Oh gosh, it's so gross.
Like every time that Allie
from
pulls...
Elena having the ick to being fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad.
And like this picture specifically, Allie loves to bring this specific picture up of him where he looks so fucked up.
And now knowing the context of that one, because I pull these photos from IMDb, but I don't know the show. Like, I don't know what it's referencing. So to know that specific part where he's like trying to poke his eye out is when he's having a panic attack in the parking lot is so much better.
So many layers.
Paul loved that scene. He went and acted that like rent was due, and I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely.
He really did.
I can only hope that he was having as much fun as it came across, because bless him. I will say, I fully expected by this episode that he was going to start killing people.
Yeah.
So I do think that the blood bank, while not great, because he could have done rich, like, compulsion things to do it legally, is not... It took him longer to get to humans, is what I'll say.
Right.
Which is surprising.
Right. Yeah.
But the deep freezer of them was a lot. Didn't like it.
I appreciated Damon saying, like, catching him in the deep freeze and being like, oh, you're a thief and a liar. Like, that was so sassy of him to say.
They have, the chemistry between them is honestly fucked up. Like, I should not love it as much as I
proud.
do. Yeah, because he's just like, well. Because, like, Damon knows, right, this whole time, being like,
gosh,
you are so not slick. Like, you are very much like a baby fawn trying to get your legs right now. And, like, not really knowing what's happening to you right now. And, like, I've known you for 200 years. So, like, I kind of know what your vibe is like generally. And this is not it.
Yeah.
You're usually not, like, gray and worried and rambling to yourself.
Yeah, you don't look like you're decomposing all the time. Like, there's a different energy about you. And Stefan's totally like, no, I'm good. I'm off that sweet stuff for sure. I'm so good. I'm back to my squirrels and everything. I'm so good right now.
My squirrels! It is... There are, like, at least 2 times in this episode where Stefan straight up says, I'm fine! And he says it in that, like, yelling voice and not calm.
Which is the harbinger of a fine person, always.
I love it so much. I'm very grateful that Damon clocked it immediately, because this episode would have been boring if he didn't know, but also not aligned to Damon. Because, and this is the thing, I guess now that we have an expert, I can ask this, Payton. So... Cody and I have been really confused by the fact that these two don't really have, like, vampire TM powers. Like, they can hear far away, but not really. Do you think that they can, like, smell people's vape? Like, do you think that's how Damon clocked Stefan? He's like, you don't smell like squirrel. You smell like the inside of a CVS when you do blood donations.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the show is pretty inconsistent, which probably doesn't surprise you with, like, what their abilities are. I would say Damon has seen Stefan sort of fall into madness and become the Ripper enough times that he can, like, I don't think the smell is necessary. I think the madman ramblings and stuff, that was it.
The sea shanties, the
It's
monologues.
like, you're telling yourself, you're, like, talking about the human stuff, and you're, like, chasing people, you're doing some weird stuff. You're lurking.
You choked your teacher on campus, Stefan. I don't think you're fine.
Right.
You're aggressive and also lurking around in a way that you don't usually do.
Yeah.
But I think they probably have some level of can smell. I mean, I would assume he could smell it. At least he would smell like a hospital disinfectant on him.
Right.
But who's to say? They're very for being a show about vampires, they don't talk a lot about being vampires.
No.
It's very odd.
It is tough to figure out some of the lore, because there have been many episodes thus far where them having any sense of, like, spidey senses would have negated an episode completely. Like,
yes.
things just wouldn't have happened. But these two are just fully unaware of the world around them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Their house gets broken
maybe that's
into
just
every
that.
fortnight. It's like, honestly, you guys gotta figure your shit out, my guys. Come on.
And you'd think if you knew, like, okay, people can't come inside unless I invite them. And to prevent vampires from coming in, I'm going to invite no one in. But they simply never learn that. They never learn that through the whole series, through the whole thing.
No, they're like, Anna, come on in. John?
They're like,
I mean, I guess.
Like, and if you need to know, I mean, I realize this was, a decade ago or whatever. But surely even then they had security cameras. Like, if I thought, okay, my dumb little brother, he's going to invite people in our house. I need to know who's coming in and out. I could set up a camera. I mean, it wasn't 1920. Like,
Right. Yeah.
No, it was 2010, so they would have had some form. I think that was just a little bit before Ring came out, but they had other security systems before that.
Yeah.
right. That never crosses their mind, not even one time.
Right.
No, it doesn't. And it constantly reminds me of, like, why they should have kept their uncle alive. Their uncle, in quotes.
Right.
Because he should have just been, like, the, quote, security guard in front of a gated community. Like, he should have just been the bearer of who comes in or not.
Absolutely.
But then they killed him, like, 5 minutes
Just
in.
immediately. Could have been really
they
useful
have
to
no
you guys.
long-term thinking. And they've been alive so long. How did they not learn that skill? They have no thought for consequences, or could something be valuable in the future? Absolutely zero concept. And they never gain it. They never get that.
Not at all. I will say, I was surprised that Anna and Pearl had such a hefty load in this episode. And that they mentioned Jonathan Gilbert and his wacky inventions, like Belle's dad and Beauty and the Beast. That it wasn't just the compass, like the compass pocket watch we've seen, but also like a sundial as well. This dude's wild.
Yeah.
I need to know more about Jonathan Gilbert, to be honest.
Yeah, he has more lore in future seasons. She'll be happy to learn more about him. But it's bizarre the whole way through. As with most of this show. Yeah, I keep thinking about, like, the vampire super speed that seems to come and go. Have you guys noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have like a nitro button that has to reload.
Sometimes they're moving like a normal human. Sometimes they're just appearing behind you, and you know. But it seems to be like when they're fighting, they can't do that very well. For some reason, that seems to be when you would need to. And they definitely aren't hitting each other quickly. It's like they can only punch at normal speed, but they can run really fast sometimes.
It must be a, like, pat your head and rub your stomach thing.
Right.
Like, they can probably just
You gotta
can't do
focus
both,
on one
you know?
or the other.
If they get too stressed, they can't do it. It's too much.
It's like, sorry, I'm out of spoons. I can't do that. I can't activate the turbo mode.
This takes like 24 hours to reload, so I can't go fast right now, but thanks for asking. I need to know your thoughts about Jeremy, because I love him.
He is, throughout, one of my favorite characters. Not even just in season 1, but like in the future. He has a really complex character arc that has not yet happened, which is really exciting, that you like to learn more about him.
What do you mean?
Feels like we've already been through the ringer with him.
He's gone through 5 traumatic events so far.
He becomes really important to the plot.
Oh no.
Later on.
God.
I'm so worried for my boy.
I just like that he's supposed to be like 15. He absolutely looks like a grown man.
That is one of the notes I wrote for this episode, is that like when Jenna clocks him and is like, Jeremy, we need to go home, he looks older than her.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should have been like, no, I'm an adult now.
They're trying to hide him with that emo cut, but it's not working. It's not doing what they're wanting to do.
No. He was fully like 23, I'm pretty sure, during that. Yeah, he's an interesting one. He was sort of my main crush on the show when I was younger.
Sure.
And then that definitely evolved into Ian, or Damon, being my main crush. But, yeah. He definitely does not look like a high school student.
No, not at all. Which I think, like, I give CW credit for that, right? Like, sometimes it just doesn't work. But then Amber, and I think her cousin, who were also in the pageant, they looked like CW appropriate high schoolers.
Yeah.
Maybe it was also the salmon dress, which for me just, like, really screams 2010. But it felt like they looked like high schoolers. And then there's Jeremy. So not great.
Jeremy, like, 2 normal students wide of muscle. Yeah, he's not really.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I was surprised. I mean, the only real person that we didn't get this episode was Matt, and surprisingly Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't know where those 2 were. But does Caroline become friends with Elena at some point, like for real, or are they always competing?
So I don't want to spoil, but I did see some moment of friendship in this episode that I wrote down. Like, true friendship was she desperately wanted Elena to not compete because she wanted to be Miss Mystic so badly. And then when Elena was really going to actually leave, she was like, no, your mom wanted you to do this. You have to do it. Yeah. And that was giving friend. And I appreciated that. And I think deep down, Caroline does.
Caroline was like, I don't want to win on a technicality. I want to beat you for real. And she did. So congrats.
Yeah. Caroline is sort of the Sharpay of the Vampire Diaries universe.
I was literally thinking that exact thing when I was watching this. Because, like, it's so funny compared to Elena. Because she's like, oh my god, I don't even want to be here. Like, I just want to be here for my mom. But even that, I'm, like, not super thrilled about this. And, like, I even forgot this was happening. Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Meanwhile, Caroline's bussing her fucking ass out here, trying to be #1 queen of Mystic Falls. Trying to do all the things and being like, I know I'm just gonna lose to you anyway, bitch. Like, because you just stumble in here and you're perfect and everyone loves you because your parents died and all these other things. But I'm here putting in the work.
She did give a lot of Sharpay.
Right.
This episode of like, I'm in 16 clubs and also here is me juggling and doing backflips.
Right. Her interview was solid. Elena was like, I forgot this was even happening. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little confused. I actually don't really want to be here. And at least I appreciate that Caroline was vindicated when Sharpay was not in that way. That's true. But so justice at least was served there.
Yes, I'm very glad she won. And Elena didn't win just by being, like, charming and goofy. Like, that just doesn't work. This is a competitive situation.
Right, get your head in the game, Elena. Come on.
I do want to know what the rubric was, because we don't see any sort of, like, talent show. Sure. It's just how well can you do this dance that we practice.
How slow and far away can you do this sexy dance?
But I do love it. The note that I wrote down about the titular moment that you mentioned, the staircase moment, I said that it looked like backwards Twilight, or not backwards Twilight, backwards Titanic.
Oh my god.
And that, there's something about the, like, cascading down the stairs, or in Titanic, it's coming up the stairs. That's hot, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But there was a, like, heavy in the room, very palpable amount of chemistry between Damon and Elena.
Oh, and even Damon being like stepping in front of like this obvious alternate because Stefan is AWOL. He's so gone. He's like, let me do my business here. I gotta step up right now. Hello? Okay.
It was so hot.
Okay.
It was. The vibes were flying. I think it's really funny that Damon's whole thing is sort of being impulsive, but there are moments like that where he is absolutely strategic. Like, he could have just let that other guy walk her. No one would have cared.
Right.
But he was like, this is my time. Like, this is my moment. Stefan is having a panic attack and killing someone in the parking lot. He's busy. Like,
it is... No one even in the room... If I was Bonnie in that moment, or even Anna, I would have been like, how does Damon know this dance?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
There's a major plot hole there. I loved it in the moment. I was very into it. But also, homeboy, what? How do you know this?
I bet this is the same dance they've done for Miss Mystic Falls
for 200
years. I feel like he's probably familiar. He's
I
like,
believe that.
all right, this is just muscle memory. It's like riding a bike, you know? You get back into it.
It was to see not only Elena's dress, but Damon's eyes in like proper sunlight, which we so rarely get for a CW show, it changed my life. It would have wrecked me if I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But I'm immensely grateful.
Same. And it's just so funny because Stefan is such a boring... I feel like Elena is boring and exciting things happen to her.
Yes.
But Damon is exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, fundamentally. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And scary, but also exciting.
And I think that's why when I continue to think back to the time where she almost died in that car wreck and Damon was like, let's go to Georgia. That was like the first moment where Elena got to see what, albeit a bad guy, but an interesting bad guy looks like, which is a canon event for someone in high school.
Right.
And to have that contrast against her like really boring boyfriend is an area of the show that I'm looking forward to them exploring more. Of Elena being like, what if I could have better than this?
Right.
And not better as in like a good person, but just more interesting things to happen to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, Stefan also isn't a good person. Like,
No.
first of all, he goes on these tirades and just kills everybody. But, like, then he feels really bad about it. So, he has these moments where you think he's a good person or whatever because he feels really guilty. But then he turns his humanity off and does it again every couple, decades. And so I think, at the very least, Damon is consistent. You know what to expect. He's killing people,
Exactly.
but at least it's at a steady rate. He's not doing the roller coaster thing.
And I appreciate him for that because this is I don't think it was last episode, but it might have been the one before, where Stefan threw himself against Elena's wall. Mm. And that was scary and he shouldn't have done that. But in this one, he throws her against a cabinet and it's like, sir.
Right. Come on
You
now.
don't get to do bad things and then just start like sobbing and now Elena needs to like be a parent to you. Get it together.
Yeah, that's sort of his whole thing. Do a bad thing and then sob about it, and someone tries to take care of him.
That, as someone who doesn't have siblings, gives off very younger brother energy to me.
Yes.
Oh,
As a younger
for sure.
sibling, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was very grateful, though, at the end of... I knew that it was happening, because why else would Elena have been there? But to find out that her and Damon were in cahoots to get him into the, like, prison that they have in the bottom of their house was a very interesting tie to this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that was pretty unexpected.
Just like, you're gonna stab your boyfriend, but it's for the best.
Right.
Because he needs to just chill out a little bit.
God, such a slay, though. You have to do it.
And when
you
they...
gotta do it.
Elena does her usual sad thing of, right, of like, oh, I'm gonna slide down this dank basement wall and I'm gonna just sit here for my boyfriend. But then Damon stays.
Yup.
He sits with her and their knees are touching. Goodbye.
And I think the best thing about Damon is that it's so apparent, really from the start, even though they fight and Damon, like, tries to act tough or whatever, that he loves Stefan so much.
Right.
Like, would do anything. He doesn't, like, if he would let Stefan, obviously Damon, the vibes are flying with Elena, okay? If he would just let Stefan continue on being the Ripper, that would be over. And he could just have Elena.
Right.
But he's willing to put that aside to help his brother. Because ultimately, the love story is between Stefan and Damon as, like, a familial love thing. I mean, that really is, like, the most powerful force in the show. I think that's beautiful.
I will say that Damon and Elena are creeping up, but as we have maintained throughout these 19 episodes, the most interesting relationship is between those two brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have the most chemistry.
Totally.
And I am very grateful and hope that continues. Which I will say, like, looking at just this photo from next episode of Blood Brothers, I think is continuing because
right, look at that. Come on now.
you can't look at a photo like this of Damon shirtless and Stefan with a ripped open shirt with blood on it and tell me that these two don't have chemistry.
Right.
You can't.
Come on now.
I'd love to hear some hypothesizing about this photo, like what you think is happening.
Ooh.
I mean, they fucked in the woods.
Right.
That's what CW does for the finale.
I mean.
It's just that specific splot of blood on Stefan. Like, there's no other blood on his face, so, like, what did you do?
Right.
You know?
What if this is just a really elaborate, like, Ren Fair episode? It's not even, like, a throwback episode. It's just, like,
yes!
they go to the Ren Fair.
They go LARPing.
Yeah, they go LARPing, and, like, Stefan's so into it, you know?
I mean, here's the thing. You naturally do see that on WebMD of, like, how to help someone with a dependency.
Sure.
The only answer is Ren Fair.
Right.
For that.
Yeah, it's the only cure.
It says number 1, Ren Fair, number 2, then you go into, like, therapy and a supportive family system and weaning off and not going cold turkey. But, like, always and forever, the answer is Ren
You gotta
Fair.
start with Ren Fair, yeah.
You gotta have that big turkey leg.
Right.
Like, what else? What else can help you in that moment, you know? As I've been to Al-Anon meetings, we talk about Ren Fairs a lot, so I don't... I will say, I already regret this so much, but, like, before we started talking about the first episode, we had made some predictions, and because the only thing that I knew about the show going into it was that, like, Bonnie leaves at some point, and that's all. And I knew about Klaus because I'd seen Caroline and Klaus in, like, fucking photoshops on Tumblr, but that's all I knew. And I will regret this to my dying day that I said in that episode talking to Cody after the first episode that I thought Jeremy was gonna die because he was boring.
Right.
And I have never regretted anything more in my life because if he dies, I'm stopping this show. I'm so scared. He was just a little shit back then, and I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right, we didn't know. He was just into weed.
And isn't that crazy
and had
that
no
that's
other
the same
personality.
season? Like, we're still just in the same season as that person who's, like, a whole different person.
So much has changed. Like, he's changed so much more than anyone else, like, bar none. It's wild.
He's, not only is he the one who's doing the, like, one-to-one with Bella of, like, ooh, I actually like it when a vampire feeds on me,
Right.
which I love this happening to both of these siblings, even though they're not talking about it. But even in this episode, he was like, I'm really pissed off at my sister. Like, I fucked around and found her journal, and then I got mad at what was in it.
Right.
But also is like, I'm actually, like, even though I'm pissed, I'm kind of grateful that she did it because I didn't want to remember Vicky that way. And it's like, that was only a couple episodes ago.
Right.
He's been through so much. I love him, and I'm very scared.
My sweet summer child.
I'm so nervous. But we don't have to worry about it, apparently, next episode, because it looks like a flashback. But I would be interested to see Stefan in this period clothing now. I think he would rock it a lot, but that's fine.
Has there been any flashbacks thus far? Like, significant ones for you guys? Like, that you've seen already?
2? There was the initial one where we met Catherine.
Right.
And then in the second time they did it, I think, was when Catherine and Pearl got.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the flashbacks are some of my favorite. Some of my favorite content. Some of my favorite
100%.
Damon content. Because he is absolutely feral. I'm obsessed. Human Damon was possibly more feral than Vampire Damon, if that's possible.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Knowing his lineage, that he comes from Giuseppe, who was such a weirdo, it makes complete sense now.
Oh, yeah.
But those are the ones that I look forward to most, which is not the case with a lot of other shows when they do flashbacks, but these, they're really good. And
They
I
are
like
good.
them a lot. Cody, we have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Pew, pew. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashton Vogel.
Ow. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zaklos.
And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Pew, 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 pew.
Woohoo! Peyton, I'm very excited to know what fanfiction that you have brought this time.
You should be afraid.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
I hope this has not been presented in this podcast, because there's a possibility. Didn't hear it if it happened, so please stop me if this has been read on the pod. But just to instill a bit of fear into you, I did find this on Tumblr.
Oh,
That was
okay.
sort of what I was looking for. I was not searching the traditional, we're going Wattpad, we're going AO3. I was searching on Tumblr, which is...
Not Hugo Award winning. Got it.
Right.
Right. So let me go to my screenshot. I thought it was a beautiful work of art, personally, so I'm hoping you feel the same.
I'm very excited.
Wonderful.
Okay, this is from Captain Sophie Stark on Tumblr. Beautiful.
Thank you.
What are you dressed as? Asked the little girl toward the front. I beamed, mentally thanking her for the opening I'd been waiting for. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Stefan, ready to tell her that we hadn't dressed up, but I spoke up before he got the chance. We're Bella and Edward from Twilight. I felt Stefan tense next to me as the realization washed over him, which only made me smile wider as the kid beamed. That's a good costume, said the girl in the front. You look just like him, the boy next to her agreed, nodding at Stefan. Thanks. Let's get you guys some extra candy. Your outfits deserve extra treats. And scene.
Wow.
Do you think that gave him like a soul searching moment of like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that?
I personally, I enjoy that. First of all, this was an ex-reader fanfic. So that was not Elena, that was you, whoever's listening.
Sure.
Dressing
all of
up
us.
as Bella. Right, dressing up as Bella with Stefan Salvatore / dress as Edward, which I think is beautiful. And the plot of the fanfiction, it was a little bit longer. The plot was Stefan, stick in the mud as per usual, did not want to dress up for Halloween. So she just laid out some clothes that looked like things that Edward and Bella wore in the movies. So he was not aware that's what they were doing.
The thing is, though, Elena would absolutely rock like a long brown skirt.
Mm-hmm.
She's not. We've never really seen her in one because she's very much like a skinny jeans girl. But that is very, very much something that her mom would have probably dressed her in at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about this mental image. I am so grateful that you have come back to join us. I'm hoping that it won't be another 3 years because we will be in season, maybe the last good season, right?
Honestly.
Where can folks go to support all of your amazing internet adventures?
I hate to do it, but the place I'm most active is Twitter, which, that's an alarming thing to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm at Pate Mitch pretty much everywhere. TikTok and Twitter mostly, and then...
Venmo, PayPal.
Yeah. Whatever you want. Search my name. I will be there. Unfortunately, I'm active on all platforms. So yeah, that's the best way. Be sure and tag me and stuff, or tweet at me and tell me that you listened, because I will appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that makes complete sense. It's your job. You have to be there.
It is.
No one can blame you for that.
That's what I tell myself, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just like the comforting noise for you. It has been absolutely amazing to have you here, and I'm very nervous about the next couple episodes that we have for this season, but as we say in the Pacific Northwest.
Get bit. Ooh.
Oh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.